Hello, everyone. Welcome to week number 35 of my 52-week challenge to do a live stream every single week on LinkedIn. I'm here with Dianna Russo, who's on my live stream show for the second time. How are you today, Dianna?
Very good, and thank you for inviting me back.
Yeah, no, glad to have you here. You're a LinkedIn strategist. So last time we talked a lot about LinkedIn. Today we'll be focusing more on your LinkedIn profile, going from how to go from drab to dynamic, and that's very key in you getting new opportunities there. But before we go into our topic, Dianna, do you mind sharing a little bit about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm a business owner. I own Leverage Up, and we work with our company, our customers, our clients to help them understand LinkedIn better, get the most out of it. And really, it is about getting the fullest potential out of LinkedIn. So there are 774 million people on LinkedIn, and it's a matter of you standing out among the crowd. So we work with business clients, we work with business owners, sales professionals, all of the above. And it's all a matter of three big pieces. There's profile, engagement, and content. And that's really how our strategy differs from others, is that there's a triangle approach that we follow when we work with our clients.
Oh, wow. 774 million LinkedIn users. Every time I bring on a LinkedIn expert here, that number just seems to increase. I thought the number was around 600 to 700 million, but wow, 774 million.
It's
And
crazy.
I know it's crazy. And yeah, you absolutely have to stand out. I'll just say, a personal recent example. I got a new job opportunity. I'll be starting that next week or so. And it was the recruiter finding me on LinkedIn. I didn't reach out to anyone. Like you said, you need the three things. You need to have a good profile. You need to engage with others. You have to create content. And you can't just do only one of them and hope the other two will work out. No, you need to do all three of them. And yeah, for me, it's just I had the right information on my profile. It's exciting. It's engaging. You know exactly what I do. And that's how a recruiter found me. And we started having those conversations. I went through the interviews and ended up with a job offer. So just wanted to share that recent example here.
Absolutely, and congratulations. That is fantastic. When you don't have to apply with the masses that is Indeed or any of those job resume websites, the job where the openings just pop up, and you can actually set yourself apart from the masses on LinkedIn, and the recruiters come to you. That's the best of scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. That's much less work on your part to do that. So yeah, let's we've got a comment here, and then we'll go into our topic about LinkedIn, how to go from drab to dynamic. So just wanted to say hello to Sergio. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching the live stream here. So first thing here is focusing on the LinkedIn profile. Why can't you have a boring profile? Why do you need to make it dynamic, Dianna?
It goes back to that number that I mentioned at the beginning, 774 million people. And one of the visuals I like to use when I'm talking to my clients is the scene from iRobot, where Will Smith is talking to all of the robots, or they're all in formation, and you want to be something different from everybody else. And so in that scene, everyone looks the same. All the robots look the same. So it is being the rainbow, being the unicorn, being the blue, green, pink, purple, the dynamic person that stands out among the masses. So that's really why your profile should showcase you and should be that online billboard that says, I'm here and here's what I do and here's who I am and here's every aspect of me, not just the professional side, but you bring in the personal side, and that makes you more human as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key with your LinkedIn profile is when someone looks at your profile, they know exactly what you want them to do, right? So if you go to my profile, it says right on top that I'm a LinkedIn and career coach. I'm a public speaker. I'm here helping you achieve success in your career. And then you can go, a little further down. You have all the links to get in contact with me there. And I've been connecting with a lot of people on LinkedIn, and sometimes when they connect with me, I have no idea why you want to connect with me, right? You don't have a cover photo, you don't have a picture, first of all. And I mean, your title, it's like, okay, if you're a student, I may figure out, okay, you might need some career advice. But if you're working 20 years at some company, I don't know why you want to connect with me. So that's another thing. It's not just having your personality on there, but I think the very key is just to make sure people know why you are on LinkedIn. What kind of opportunities you're looking for.
Absolutely. And I will say that every personalized message I get when someone has taken the time to look at my profile and open up that conversation, and it's not a template, it's not copying and pasting from something, that person authentically wants to get to know you, it's boom. There's no guesswork as far as why does this person want to connect. Right from the get-go who that person is and why they want to be part of your network. Yeah,
and some of the messages I get from people, they ask me, "What do you do?" And I'm just like, "Really? You didn't even take it's right there. It's like, if you just click on my name, it's right there. Even if you just look at my headline, that's in the chat window, like, exactly what I do." So yeah,
that's a sign of laziness. It's a sign that the person doesn't want to even go to your profile and look at you first. And how long does that actually take, How long does it take for you to go to someone's profile and start at the banner image and scroll down and read the about section and read about the experience? And honestly, it doesn't take that long. So that using that as an example, that's just someone that's just not looking and just doesn't care enough to check you out first.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't really take that much work. I can go to someone's profile and I ask pretty much the same 4 to 5 questions, right? How did you get into coaching, right? Because I'm a career coach. I want to hear someone's story. Or if they started a new job, hey, how's the new job going? Or how's school going, right? Because a lot of students are, trying to get through that COVID and virtual school. So asking questions targeted on their profile, it makes that conversation a lot easier. You start building that relationship.
Absolutely. And it goes back to how much are you opening up on your own profile where people can have those conversations. For example, I'm thinking about adding in my fitness routine into my about section, and I'm not going to lead with it because I'm not a fitness coach and that's not my profession. But down a little bit, I may say that I'm doing X amount of exercising and I'm trying to make that into my daily routine. And that opens up a conversation with people. It's about going to a networking event and not going right up to someone and saying, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. I work for this company." And you sound robotic. Like, it's about opening up a conversation with something that someone can relate to. And so that's why your profile is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great icebreaker as well, right? It's just like, "Oh, what do you do for fitness?" Or "How do you work out every day?" That's just an absolutely great icebreaker.
Yeah.
Want to highlight a few comments here. Thank you, Fayaz, for joining here. Listen along for the next 20, 25 minutes here, and we'll share a lot of great tips on how to make your profile go from drab to dynamic. And hello to Benita. Thanks for supporting all my content as well. We'll share a lot of great tips here. And then Phil, I think you're connected to both of us here. So so it's, you have to be able to share a little bit more about yourself on your profile. LinkedIn is a professional platform, but even at work, people know who you are. People know what your hobbies are, what your passions are. So don't be afraid to share that on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. The first thing that someone looks at when they're connecting with you, and I know this because I've done polls, and at least my network, the first thing that my network sees when they connect with someone is that profile picture. And I will tell you that there are so many people who are doing it right. And then there's another chunk of people who just don't know that that's not the right way to put your profile out there. So let me give you 3 big tips on a good profile picture. Number 1, your head and shoulders should cover 60% of that circle that LinkedIn gives you for your profile. It should not be a picture of you and your kids We love them. I have 3 kids of my own, but save that for Facebook, save that for Instagram. And it's not to discredit anyone being a mom, dad, or a parent, or the importance of other people in your life. But LinkedIn is a professional networking platform with a human side. So, and you can quote me on that. That's actually a good one. But it's about showcasing your best self and your professional self right up in that profile picture. So that's one tip. And the second is that you want, when I say your head and shoulders, you don't want the picture being taken, number one, as a selfie, because you really want someone else taking that picture. And number two, you don't want it so far back that people see really great scenery, but they're not seeing your smile. And the smile is so important. If you don't smile in your profile picture, how approachable are you for that new connection? So smile it's underrated for sure.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And I think a good way to look at it is if you're at a networking event, right? If you don't have a picture and you just have, I'm just saying, a piece of paper or a bag covering your face, like no one wants to talk to you, right? And then again, with what you just said, if you're at a networking event and you're just serious and you just have a frown on your face or you just look very stern, you're not very approachable at all, right? So again, with the profile picture, you really don't have to overthink it. You don't have to Photoshop. You don't have to do filters or anything. But make sure good lighting and have someone else take the picture for you. And you don't have to wear a suit and tie. For me, I just have a dress shirt on, and I actually had that picture taken right before I went out to a nice dinner date, right? And it looks nice. So that's what I do for my profile picture.
Yep. I've had people this past week talk to me a little bit about their profile pictures, saying, well, mine's 5 years old, and I just don't like the way that I looked in the more recent picture. And you really need to be confident in that person that you're putting in your profile picture. So while my go-to recommendation is make it a recent picture, if you're not happy with it, then how confident are you going to be to meet new people? So you really should be confident in that picture that you use. You should be happy with it and not just use it for X, Y, and Z reason, but use it because you really like it and you're putting your best foot forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I there's people that told me that, I don't want to put my picture on there because I'm just afraid of, people are going to judge me on how I look, right? And again, that's just part of your confidence, right? So if you're going to go to a networking event and you're just even afraid to show up, to even show your face, then that's just something you need to overcome. So again, you don't need the best profile picture possible or ever, right? You just have to have your, like you said, head and shoulders in the picture, and that's all you need.
Yep, and a nice smile. A nice smile goes a long way.
Absolutely. So now let's go on to our next topic here, and this is probably going to be a bulk of our conversation here. What are different ways you can do to make your LinkedIn profile more dynamic?
It's not an online resume. I'll say it again for those in the back. It's not an online resume. It's really, that's one of the biggest things I see is people copying and pasting job descriptions, people copying and pasting their summary at the top of their resume. It is about what you do and how you're different from everybody else out there. So I was working this week with a team, and there was quite a few salespeople on this team. And one thing that I showed them as we were doing our one-on-ones was I was looking up the keywords that are in their job title. I looked up account executive. Do you know how many results I got when I looked up account executive on LinkedIn?
Tens of millions.
6.474 million people that are currently using account executive. So if I was a prospective client, I might not be searching account executive. And someone brought that up in one of the calls. Well, if someone's looking for my services, that's not, but wouldn't you want to be found by someone who is looking for your services? So it goes back to who is your ideal client? And what things do you want to be found for? And that's not your job title. Someone's not going to search account executive, but it shows that there's so many people out there with that title, that what makes you different and what makes you unique. And that's where you can really target in on your ideal client. You can tell people how you help others, how you help your clients, how you help, and even if you're a job seeker, what makes you different than everybody else out there? How do you sell yourself in an interview? It's super important. You have to know why they should hire you. So that's the type of things that you need to be putting in your headline, put in your about section, because it's about standing up out from that crowd. Going back to iRobot, you're not just a gray figure standing in line. You are that unicorn. You are that rainbow. You are that blue, green, pink, purple character out there, and you have to stand out among everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to point out Dianna's headline. I'll point out my headline as well. And what you said with the headline, it has to grab people's attention and make them come to your profile, because that shows up right underneath your name here. And Dianna's headline, I'm just going to read it word for word here. Ask me how I grew my LinkedIn following 25x in 18 months and how I work with companies and solopreneurs to brand themselves here the right way. So just by reading that headline, I know exactly what Dianna does and how she can help me or help my business or whatever. It's just straight right there. And then I'm just going to go to mine's a little different. So Dianna has her mission statement in there. I try to grab people's attention by sharing who I am. So I have shy introvert, and then a right arrow to public speaker, engineer, right arrow to a project manager. And then the final part is my mission statement, LinkedIn, a career coach, helping you achieve success in your career. So when a lot of people connect with me, again, they see the headline, they say, oh, I'm a shy introvert. I wanted to connect with you because I want to get better at public speaking. Or I'm an engineer and I wanted to connect because I want to get into project management. So that's how I grab people to my LinkedIn profile. And then I can talk to them in my about section. I talk about how I overcame my fear of public speaking, how I went from a shy introvert to getting comfortable doing LinkedIn lives and doing videos, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a combination of your headline and your about section, that your headline pulls people in, and the about section tells you, or tells the reader or the audience what your story is, and it really resonates with people because they say, oh, I am a shy introvert, or I am an engineer, or whatever, and I want to get to where you are today. Just by sharing your story, it really makes you a lot more personable and makes your story resonate with a lot of people.
Yes, 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 and yes. The headline is the second thing that people look at when they're looking to connect with you. The third and fourth thing is either the banner image right at the top, which you can change it. It's not the great template. You can change that into something that is not a skyline picture, but says something about who you are and what you do. So that's the banner. But that about section, it is so important because it should tell your story. It should say why you enjoy getting up first thing in the morning, why you enjoy working where you do, what makes you happy in life, whether personally, professionally, and what sets you apart from everybody else. And that's why what you had mentioned was that your headline just leads people to that about section. That's the best way to do it, because you're putting little bits and pieces in there that are going to make them click on your profile, find out more, and then read your story. And then you can get into more detail, because in the about section, you get 2,000 characters to write your about section. So I'm not saying use them all, but you have the room to write what you need to. And you can be unique about it. One of the tips I give about the about section is you don't have to write it all in one sitting. If you know that there are bits and pieces that you want to use, keep a notepad, write them down, write them in the notes app on your phone, whatever you want to do. And then you can write maybe one draft tonight, another draft on Sunday. Taking the time to write something and then go back and look later, it gets you a totally new, fresh perspective. And you may tweak things here and there. And nothing's written in concrete. It really isn't. I can change my about section, rewrite it today, and it's no worse for the wear. So nothing is written in stone.
Oh, that's an excellent point. I think a lot of people, when they have a blank or very basic LinkedIn profile, they get overwhelmed. Oh, I got to do a banner photo. I got to do a picture. I got to do a headline. I got to do a about section. Oh, wait, and I got to do all my experience as well. And I tell them, just do one thing at a time. Focus on each one. So the headline is absolutely, in my opinion, the priority item. and it's the shortest part that you need to write, but then you just really want to write a good headline to grab people's attention. And my headline, I haven't touched it at all this year. I found, with the words I have, I'm getting the people who clicked on my profile, who connect with me, are the potential clients that I want. I'm good. I don't need to touch it, right? And then the about section kind of changes over time about, what I do, my day job, and, I talk about this and that. But the about section, it took me 3 to 4 iterations to write. And again, you don't have to do it all at once. And
right.
Dianna, you say nothing's written in concrete. You can always change it. You can always update it. Don't worry about having everything perfect to put it on there, because again, it's the long-term thing with LinkedIn. So update it as you go along, and come back the next day, come back the next week, reread it, and it's like, oh, this sounds a little better when your mind's a little more fresh. Absolutely.
There's 2 more things I want to give, 2 more bits of advice I want to give to people who are watching when it comes to your LinkedIn profile. Your experience section, while it isn't the top 4 things that people see, it is underrated for what you have achieved at those positions. It shouldn't be job descriptions. It should be highlighting what you want to brag about at each of those positions. And you only need to go back 10 years, unless that one of those positions that's older directly applies to what you're currently doing. You don't need to go back 20 or 25 years. No one really cares. Just go back 10 years and then save the rest on your resume if you need to. And then the other thing is recommendations. Can I just tell you that recommendations, while you could compare them to Google business reviews or Amazon reviews or something like that, they're not paid for. They're real people writing a testimonial on your behalf. So they don't get paid for it. So it is about what other people are saying about you. And when you have a received column that equals or is even less than the given column, that means that you are giving as much as you are receiving. So it's not having 50 recommendations in the received and maybe 2 in the given. You have to make it even. And what I have found with recommendations is that if I really want one from someone, I'm going to pay it forward, and they're more likely to pay me back after it. So it's important.
Yeah, excellent point, right? So we talked about the headline, the banner photo, and then about section. But again, the bottom part is key, especially if someone looking at your profile, they really want to work with you. They're going to read all the way down. And with your experience, just like your resume, don't write it like a job description. Highlight your achievements, highlight your accomplishments. I have my LinkedIn and career coaching on there. I talk about how many people I've helped, how many views and content I've put out with my videos, things like that. And recommendations, again, like what you said, that's a great way to build relationships as well. Just by even writing a recommendation for someone who hasn't even asked for it, but it's just someone you really admire, you really appreciate their help, it really goes a long way. And again, pay it forward, right? So if someone writes a recommendation for you, do it right back to them, right? Write a recommendation for them. It's good to keep that number even, right? Because if you give a lot and then no one's sending you any, you don't receive anything, it's like, well, it looks like you're just trying to, if you're trying to fish for recommendations and no one really appreciates what you've done or really will recommend you. And again, vice versa, you want to make sure you give back to the community as well with your recommendations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are other people speaking on your behalf. So while your LinkedIn profile is you selling you, those recommendations, even though you have to scroll all the way down to the end of the profile to see them, I think if it was up to me, I would bring them up even higher. Because those are people speaking and testifying on your behalf. So I think that they are very underrated on LinkedIn for sure.
Yeah, especially if you're some sort of services business, right? If you're like me and you here, and someone goes to one of our profiles like, oh, I don't know if I want to work with Steve. I don't know if I want to work with Dianna. How have they helped people in the past? They can go straight down. Like you said, it's a testimonial. And again, that's like the same thing you do when you go to a restaurant. You go get your car repaired. You go into something brand new. You of course look at the recommendations and look at the testimonials that people have, and that's like, okay, this person's good at what they're doing. I want to work with this person.
Absolutely. And I will say that while the sections that we covered are ultra important, take a look at the profile from the top all the way down and make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. Make sure that this is exactly who you want to portray. And honestly, you can compare your LinkedIn profile to your online billboard. The billboards that you may see on the highway, they only get the attention for people as they're passing back and forth. So when someone goes to your profile, they're only on it for how many, a minute, maybe 2 minutes at the most. So you want to make sure that everything there is putting your best foot forward and that it's easy for them to read through. I have seen people using emojis in their about section. You don't necessarily have to do that unless you're using it when you're texting. You don't want to use emojis if they're not you. But I will say that the short paragraphs, it's skimmable and it's easier for people to read as opposed to big, huge paragraphs of text that you might see in a book. It's not a book. It's an online platform. So you really want to make it as easy as possible for people to go from one end to the other.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you just want to make it easy for someone who clicks on your profile who know exactly what you do and how you can help them, right? You don't want them to scroll through a paragraph or just even look at your profile just like, what do you do again? Right? You don't want any of that. You just, and again, it's okay. These things take time. It takes multiple iterations. So don't worry about it being perfect. One thing I want to bring up, it's a really easy tip for your banner photo. I'm not very creative at all. I don't have an artistic background, but the recommendation I got from someone else was for your banner photo, just go to Canva. It's free. You know, I use it to make my background photo or my background image right here you see on the live stream. Just go to Canva, just look up LinkedIn banner photo and just find a template. They have so many templates. You fill it in with what you want to do. And I've seen people who use the same exact template as me, right? So again, I'm not very artistic, but Canva is absolutely a great tool to use to make your LinkedIn banner photo.
It is. And I will say that when you take a template and you change it up and modify it, it is a sense of who you are. So try and customize it as best as you can. And that's where the image should go hand in hand with a short phrase of text so that people get to know who you are and what you do in just a few words.
Yeah. And Dianna's banner photo right here, it says right there, big words, right? You don't even need to squint to look at it. Big words, has her Leverage Up logo, and it says, helping my clients understand LinkedIn, use it the right way, and turn those results into money, and $3 signs for money there. So, I mean, that's even easier to read than the headline, and your headline's, very straight to the point too. So again, your banner photo, definitely utilize it to get what you need or get what you're looking for on LinkedIn.
Yep. When all of the pieces of the puzzle are going in the right direction and you're happy with all of the pieces, then it is less of a homework or less of a task and more of something where you can sit back and say, okay, I'm happy with it. I'm happy. That's my brand. That is who I am. And that's who I want to showcase to other people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And when you start getting compliments from people saying, hey, I clicked on your profile because I saw your headline or I saw your banner photo, that's when you know you did a good job.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, yeah, we covered a lot of information here. We talked about why you need to make your LinkedIn profile go from drab to dynamic. And we just spent the last 20 or so minutes talking about how to make it more dynamic, right? A lot of different things, your cover photo, your profile picture. That's very, very important. Your headline, your about section, your experience, and then the recommendations at the very end here. I just wanted to point out Dianna's LinkedIn profile that I've been reading this whole time here. And I just want to give you the last couple minutes here, Dianna, for you to make your plug, make your pitch, how you can help others, or what do you need help with?
Thank you. Send me a direct message right on LinkedIn. Email me at Dianna@leverageupllc.com. I work with solopreneurs. I work with business owners. I work with sales and marketing professionals. I work with companies that want me to work with the entire team. So reach out if you have any needs or any questions in regards to LinkedIn. I'm happy to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another thing I just want to mention at the end here is if you look at someone's LinkedIn profile, you're like, wow, that is an amazing LinkedIn profile. Ask them for advice, or even just pick out little things that they do in their headline or they do in their about section that makes you just wants you to keep reading. So, again, LinkedIn is such a supportive community. ask people for advice, right? That's how I found out you can use Canva to make your banner photo. We got a lot of good advice here. So don't be afraid to reach out to myself, to reach out to Dianna if you have any LinkedIn questions in general. Any other final thoughts here, Dianna?
No, I think it's been a fantastic half hour for sure. Hopefully people are learning quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely here. So final comments here. Thank you, Philip, for joining. Philip has a very exciting profile that just shows exactly what his personality is. We made some excellent, great points. Thank you for watching, Yin Yang. And with Phil, it's essentially social proof, right? Put what you want, show what your personality is on LinkedIn, and then simple is key, right? Don't overthink your LinkedIn profile. Keep it straight to the point, make it easier to read, make it easy to understand for whoever's looking at your LinkedIn profile.
Absolutely.
So again, thank you everyone for joining us here, learning about how to make your LinkedIn profile go from drab to dynamic. Thank you again so much, Dianna, for joining my live stream here for the second time. Again, a lot of great information that we covered here. So look forward to chatting with you soon. And for everyone, look forward to talking to you next week on my week 36 of my LinkedIn live series here. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you.